Mira and HarlequinAudio present Don't Say a Word by Allison Brennan, performed by Hillary Huber. For everyone who has lost a loved one to drugs. Nobody made a greater mistake than he who did nothing because he could do only a little. Edmund Burke. Prologue. Phoenix PD Officer Josie Morales stood over the body of a kid who couldn't be over 18. She said a silent prayer, but still wanted to punch something. What a waste. "Where's the damn ME?" her partner Tyrell Jones said. "It's already hot as balls out here." "Detectives are on their way," Josie said. The ME always came after the detectives. She and Tyrell had just finished their morning briefing when dispatch reported that park rangers had found a dead body in Mountain View Park, only a couple blocks from their precinct. Now they were stuck here until the detectives cleared the scene. Their coffee run would have to wait. "How long until the dicks get here?" Tyrell said. He wasn't a fan of the detective squad, mostly because of how some of them treated unis. She asked dispatch for a status. 20 minutes, she told Tyrell. "Fuck," he whispered as he took another long look at the deceased. "Drugs," he said, though they couldn't be certain. They couldn't see any blood or external wounds, but that didn't mean that a drug overdose was the cause of death. Josie had already sectioned off the area with crime scene tape, not because she thought this was a homicide, but because she didn't want people being disrespectful and nosy. A couple joggers slowed as they passed Josie, straining their necks to see what the cops were doing. Tyrell glared at them, then walked back to their patrol car and returned with a tarp. They carefully covered the body. "Fucking waste," Tyrell muttered. He'd been a uniformed officer for 15 years and planned to retire after putting in his 20, then open a bar, or a gun range, or a gym. It changed depending on his mood. But one thing was certain, he'd told Josie more than once. He wanted to work for himself and take orders from no one except his wife. He was cynical and rough around the edges, but Tyrell was a solid and seasoned cop. He never dodged calls and called out cops who routinely did, which didn't make him a lot of friends. Josie had learned a lot from Tyrell since she'd partnered with him after shifting to days 3 months ago, and while she wished he would be a bit more diplomatic with her colleagues, she respected and trusted him. Josie kept her eyes on the people in the area, making sure they stayed beyond the crime scene tape. She glanced at Tyrell and, even though he was wearing sunglasses, she could tell by his tight jaw and the way he stood that he was upset. He had 2 kids. To see a dead teen was difficult for her, but had to be harder on a father. By the time a detective sedan pulled up, they'd drawn a larger audience, but Josie had put the tape far enough away that onlookers couldn't overhear their discussion. "Well, shit," Tyrell said when he saw Rachel King was the responding detective. "Deal with her. I don't have the patience today." He walked over to the tape to wait for the ME's van. Good that Tyrell walked away, because Rachel had made few friends during her years on the force, primarily because she was both prickly and hypercritical of uniformed officers. However, the CSI who rolled up behind her was Josie's cousin, Margo Angelhart. Nico smiled when he saw her, but before they could exchange a word, Rachel removed the tarp and motioned for him to take photos. He was quick, methodical, and efficient as he photographed the body, the surrounding area, and then motioned that Rachel could search the victim. They would want to identify him as soon as possible and notify his parents. Josie was glad she didn't have to do that part of the job. As she watched, Rachel turned out the teen's pockets. A small baggie of blue pills along with a couple 20s were in one pocket. His other held a thin wallet. Rachel opened it. "Arizona state identification card, no driver's license. Elijah Martinez, 17, lives in an apartment off 19th Avenue. That's more than 2 miles away. What's he doing here?" She continued flipping through the wallet. "Sun Valley High School," she said. "That's less than a mile down the road."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?